So scheduling from a work order is next.
Yeah, so we've set up our incident type. We'll use those incident types then on work orders or cases. Either of them can accept an incident type. And as I stated earlier, really an incident type is going to be the template for the work order. So if that work order needs a part number, like we had a part number on there, that part number is going to automatically come into that work order. Those service tasks that the technicians will work from, those 4 service tasks, those will all come in there, as well as those characteristics or skill sets. So let's go ahead and jump in and show you this in action on a work order here. So here we are back in our field service home screen, and I'm going to go ahead and navigate down and we'll open up a work order. So we're in the services area, we'll click work orders. I've got one already predefined here. It's work order number 338. We'll go ahead and click on that. And you can see here, we've got some information already pre-filled out. This is one I already created. But if I scroll down on the left-hand side here, you see a field here called primary incident type. And that's a lookup field where I chose that replace core part. Okay, so that has all the things that we just looked at. That's the incident type that we looked at. When we choose that primary incident type, what's really happening is it's going to be filling out an incident onto the work order. And that's a subgrid on the right-hand side. The main point here is you can have more than one incident type on a work order. Of course, you're going to have your primary one, but then I could add another one, and the work order would inherit all those characteristics that are needed for all of the incident types that I would put on this work order. But for this example, we'll just leave it with the primary. If I navigate to the products tab here on the work order, you'll see that part number that we had on that incident type. So this is automatically came into the work order because of that incident type. Same with services. There's those 2 services that we would maybe use for billing if this was a billable service that we were providing. There's our 4 service tasks that add up to the 2.5 hours. So this is the task list that our technicians would be working from. And then again, probably more importantly for scheduling, if I come up to the related tab here, I'm going to go ahead and go into characteristics for this work order. And again, this work order inherited the characteristics of that incident type. So that incident type, we had the HVAC technician, and I needed a rock star for that particular incident type. So it inherited that. So now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and try and schedule a resource or a technician for this work order. So I'm going to click the book button up on the top here, and that's going to open up our scheduling board. And you see here, I've got a couple of different people. So I see Carlos listed here, which is the one that Sarah Jo showed us. I also see another guy named David. Both of them are just internal users or technicians that I have. It could also show subcontractors. Look on the left-hand side, I'm filtering, again, off of that HVAC Rockstar technician, which is Carlos and David both fall into that category. The reason Carlos is showing up multiple times here is he's available multiple times, where David only has some availability, basically, today. I'm going to say that this work order, though, the customer is Spanish-speaking. So I'm going to go ahead and add another filter criteria here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to go ahead and choose our characteristic of Spanish speaker. So let's go ahead and find that on the list here. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and choose it. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose a proficiency as Rockstar again. So you got to be really proficient in Spanish in order to help this customer. If I click the search button here, watch what happens. Now David was removed from the eligible list here because David doesn't speak Spanish, but there's Carlos still, and I can choose Carlos to fulfill this work order. So I'm going to go ahead and select tomorrow. So I'm going to send him out there tomorrow, first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. So I'll go ahead and set that time, which is the default. And then I'm going to go ahead and book Carlos as the resource for this work order. So hopefully you can kind of see that by creating these incident types, it's really a template for products, services, as well as those skill sets. And those got brought into the work order. Then when I go to schedule a resource for this work order, it's looking at those characteristics and those proficiencies to pick the correct or the proper resource to work on this particular work order.